Have you ever wondered why some people spend their whole lives doing good, living gently, never fighting with anyone, always helping others, always avoiding harm, and yet, whenever a disaster strikes, they are the first to suffer? Some lose everything in a single night. Their homes collapse, their fields disappear under floodwater. They cry, they scream, they look to the sky, to the Buddha, asking why, after so many years of living righteously, they still cannot escape such deep suffering. When we hear these stories, our hearts twist in pain. Some people say it must be fate. Some say it's karma. Others sigh and ask what the point of doing good is if storms can still sweep away everything we've worked for. There are people who spend their entire lives helping their neighbors, showing up whenever anyone needs them, yet when the floods come, they are the ones who lose the most. Meanwhile, those who live greedily, arrogantly, even cruelly toward others stand safely by as the storm passes without touching them. Scenes like that stir up frustration in many, raising a very human question. Why does heaven seem to lean toward some and not toward others? After a flood, some sit silently in front of what used to be their home, now just a bare foundation. They ask us a question that catches in our throat. I've lived a good life. I haven't harmed anyone. Why didn't heaven show me mercy? That question isn't asked in anger. It's asked because the pain is too great to hold alone. When they look at a neighbor's house still standing, or watch wealthy families on the news sitting comfortably in safety, the sense of injustice only grows. Human hearts are fragile when facing loss, especially the kind that comes from forces beyond our control. You may have seen a mother sitting beside the ruins of her home, covering her face as she cries. Not because she lost possessions, but because she lost years of effort. The deepest pain isn't losing a house. It's losing the belief that goodness will protect us. When that belief shakes, life suddenly feels unfair. People ask where their merit went, where karma is, whether heaven truly sees, or if everything they believed was just a comforting idea. I felt the same. I felt helpless watching kind-hearted people suffer over and over. Sometimes I wondered why gentle souls seem to face the most trials. Why someone who does good must struggle, while someone selfish lives in comfort and peace. If we look only with ordinary eyes, life seems unbearably unfair. But if we look deeper, through the lens of causes and conditions, we see that nothing happens without reason. In every heart facing disaster, a quiet question arises: is goodness useless? But my friend, those questions are simply the cries of a wounded mind. Life is not senseless, karma is not mistaken. We just haven't seen through the layers of past causes and conditions. When a good person suffers in a natural disaster, it's easy to misunderstand and think they are being punished. But that is not the truth. The Buddha never taught that doing good protects us from all suffering. He taught that goodness brightens the mind, transforms karma, and gives us the wisdom and strength to endure hardship when it arrives. Before we dive deeper into karma, we need to sit together for a moment and truly acknowledge this pain, not denying it, not avoiding it. Because the suffering good people face doesn't happen because they lack virtue. It happens because they stand at the intersection of their own past karma and the karma of the community around them. No one can live on the merit of a single lifetime and expect to escape all hardship if past causes have not yet ripened, or if the community as a whole is acting out of harmony with nature. Today we'll explore this topic, not with dry theory but with the heart. To understand that storms do not wash away our merit. They remind us to look at the greater web of causes and conditions. To understand that doing good is not a transaction for safety, but a seed of clarity we plant within ourselves. To understand that sometimes loss is the way karma dissolves and merit is reborn. When we understand correctly, we blame less. When we blame less, our hearts feel lighter. And when the heart becomes lighter, we begin to see the path that leads us forward after the storm. When we look at disasters destroying the homes of good people, it's easy to think heaven is unfair. But the Buddha taught that nothing happens outside the laws of causes, conditions, and karma. Heaven does not reward or punish anyone. Natural disasters are not punishments. They are the natural workings of impermanence and collective karma. To understand why good people still suffer during storms, we must look beyond one lifetime and deeper into the roots of cause and effect. First, we need to understand impermanence. The Buddha taught, all conditioned things are impermanent, meaning that anything with form or shape will change. Even mountains erode, rivers dry up. So what can we expect of our homes and possessions? Natural disasters are simply part of that constant change. It's not that only those with bad karma encounter disasters, but because we live in a world that never stops moving. When we cling to our possessions as if they were part of ourselves, the pain multiplies when we lose them. Impermanence shakes the things we believed were solid, reminding us that nothing belongs to us forever. But impermanence alone cannot explain why good people often suffer more loss. To understand that, we must look at karma, not only individual karma but also the shared karma of a community. The way humans treat the land, forests, and rivers determines how nature responds. When the earth is exploited, when forests are cut down, when rivers are filled, when the environment is harmed, nature falls out of balance. And when the balance is broken, disasters occur. Those living in that environment, good or bad, share the consequences of collective karma. This is what the Buddha called shared karma. Karma created together and carried together. But there is something deeper still. Some people live kindly all their lives and still face misfortune. From what we see in the present life, they appear blameless. But karma does not operate within just one lifetime. The Buddha taught that karma spans 3 lifetimes: past, present, and future. Sometimes we live virtuously now, but in a previous life, we created unwholesome causes. When those causes ripen, the results come, even if we are living kindly today. It's not punishment from heaven, it's simply karma coming due. Like someone who once borrowed money, no matter how good they are today, the old debt must still be repaid. When it's paid off, life becomes lighter again. I once met a gentle, hard-working man whom everyone in the village respected. Yet every year when the floods came, his house was always the most damaged. One year the water even took the roof away. He sat on the bank watching everything float down the river, unable to hold back his tears. Once, when he visited a temple, he asked the monk, "I haven't done anything wrong. Why do storms keep hitting my house?" The monk looked at him for a moment and said, "It's not the storm targeting you. It's your old karma coming due. But because you're facing it with a good heart, the debt will end sooner." He sat quietly, and for the first time, even though everything around him was still in ruins, something inside him softened. That teaching helped him understand that suffering is not punishment, it is the closing of a karmic cycle. There are many stories like this in the scriptures. In the Buddha's time, there was a region struck by such severe drought that the earth cracked, people starved, and water disappeared. Some blamed heaven, some blamed the earth. But the Buddha taught that it was the shared karma of the region. Many generations lacking compassion toward their environment and toward living beings. He did not blame anyone. He simply reminded them that when collective karma ripens, collective results appear. Yet in the middle of that drought, the people who kept kindness in their hearts, though poor, were the first to recover when the rains returned. Merit cannot stop disasters, but merit gives us the strength, the support, and the conditions to rise again after disaster. There is another reason why good people face hardship. It's because they create very little new negative karma. It sounds paradoxical, but it is profound. Those who live kindly do not create heavy new karma, so their old karma can ripen more quickly and all at once, ending within one lifetime. Those who live harmfully continually create new karma, delaying the ripening of old negative karma because the conditions for it are not yet complete. They think they're safe, but they're only accumulating more debt. When their karma finally ripens, it will come suddenly and severely. Good people repay karma quickly. Harmful people repay it late. But paying it quickly is not a bad thing. It means finishing earlier. The pain may be great, but the duration is short, and afterward, a clearer path appears. Some ask whether this means good people must endure all the suffering. No. Good people have merit. Not the kind that exempts them from hardship, but the kind that helps them endure it without losing their inner light. Merit is having helpers appear when you most need them. Merit is having the strength to stand back up after the storm. Merit is not becoming bitter or blaming life when things fall apart. Merit is keeping your heart intact through suffering. That is the kind of merit no storm can wash away. We will go deeper into this later, but for now, just remember this. Natural disasters have no intention, but karma does. Disasters do not choose the good or the bad, they are simply the flow of impermanence. But karma determines how we rise afterward. And it is in that rising that we see the difference between the good-hearted and the unkind. There is one more profound truth that many overlook. Good people often rely on sincerity, compassion, and moral principles. When they suffer, it hurts more because they believe that goodness would bring peace. And when peace does not come immediately, they fear goodness has lost its value. But the Buddha taught that goodness is not an insurance policy, it is the foundation of a strong and steady mind. When hardship comes, people with a good heart can endure more easily than those filled with greed and anger. Those with good hearts do not let the storm strip away their humanity. But those who live harmfully may collapse internally the moment adversity appears. Let's look back at the major natural disasters we've seen. Good people may lose their homes and possessions, but they don't lose their loved ones. They don't lose their faith. They don't lose the warmth of their community. After the storm, they are often the first to be supported by those around them. Not because they are wealthy, but because they have planted goodness in the hearts of others. A person who always helps neighbors during heavy rains, when their house collapses, dozens of people come to rebuild their roof. That's not luck. That is merit ripening at the right moment. Merit isn't what prevents storms. Merit is what helps us survive and recover after the storm. There is a story in the scriptures about a layman who was extremely poor but possessed a deeply kind heart. One year, a flood swept through his region. His home was the smallest, so it washed away first. People thought he would suffer the most. But when the water receded, the villagers came together and built him a new house faster than anyone else. The Buddha said, "One who plants merit in the heart will be lifted by that merit when hardship arises." Merit doesn't always appear as wealth. It appears as support, as people, as unseen protection precisely when we need it. Another reason good people suffer is because of attachment to possessions. Most of the pain during a natural disaster doesn't come from the loss itself, but from the way we see our possessions as part of who we are. When we identify my house, my field, my money as me, then when those things are gone, we feel as if part of our own body has been torn away. That is attachment. Attachment doubles the suffering. The Buddha taught that possessions are tools, not the self. Use them when they exist, rebuild when they are gone, but do not let them become chains that bind the heart. Some people say after a storm, "I don't mourn the house. I mourn what I spent my whole life building." But my friend, effort is never lost. Everything we create with a good heart becomes merit. The house may float away, but merit does not. Wealth may disappear, but the seeds of goodness we planted are never gone. That is why some people lose everything yet do not fall into despair. They say, "As long as I'm alive, I can rebuild." That is the mind free of attachment, and non-attachment is wisdom. We must also remember that natural disasters are physical events. but suffering is a mental event. These two are not the same. A storm can destroy two identical houses, yet the people in those houses will not suffer in the same way. A person with clarity, kindness, and non-attachment suffers less and recovers faster. A person filled with greed, anger, and resentment turns loss into an endless pit. This is why the Buddha taught that suffering does not come from the circumstance, it comes from the mind. Many people ask whether natural disasters are the result of karma. The answer is both yes and no. The disaster itself is impermanence. But who suffers more and who suffers less depends on individual karma and the shared karma of the community. If both personal karma and collective karma are heavy, the person suffers greatly. If personal karma is lighter, they may escape harm even while living in the same area. In many floods, we see one person's yard barely flooded while the neighbor's house is washed away. This is not heaven choosing sides. It is cause and effect operating with complete precision. The Buddha taught that karma is impartial. It does not love the good more, nor does it hate the bad more. It simply produces results according to the seeds we have planted. If we sow goodness in this life, we gain peace of mind immediately. External blessings may come later. If we sowed harmful seeds in a past life, we must still repay them in this one, even if we are living kindly now. Those who understand this do not blame life. Those who don't think heaven is blind. Another important point is that we usually see only the surface of karma. We see an unkind person whose house wasn't destroyed and call them lucky. But we don't see the fear, anxiety, and insecurity that will overwhelm them when their karma ripens unexpectedly. We see a kind person lose their home and call them unlucky. But we don't see how afterward they receive help, love, and support. We don't see how their heart becomes more peaceful after hardship. Good people often feel lighter than the unkind because they hold less resentment. That lack of resentment is one of the greatest forms of merit. A disaster can take away what we have, but it cannot take away what we are. And who we are is what truly matters. If we are people of kindness, the storm may take our roof, but it cannot take our heart. But if we are full of greed and anger, even if the house survives intact, the heart may still crumble. This is why the Buddha always taught that true merit lies within, not outside. A good heart is the one possession no storm can touch. We also must not forget that many disasters arise not only from old karma but also from modern human habits. Deforestation, pollution, overbuilding, encroaching on rivers. All of this creates the cause for stronger natural disasters. Good people still suffer because they live in the same environment. This isn't the fault of any one person, it's the responsibility of the entire community. When we understand that we are living within shared karma, we blame less, resent less, and begin learning how to live in greater harmony with nature. A natural disaster is not an enemy. It is a wake-up call. It reminds us of impermanence. It reminds us of shared karma. It reminds us to treat nature with compassion. And it reminds us that all possessions are only borrowed. When we open our hearts and look from that angle, the suffering inside us begins to soften. Not because the loss becomes smaller, but because the heart becomes larger. When we look at the destruction caused by natural disasters, the first feeling that arises is helplessness. The pain comes so suddenly, so forcefully that we have no time to prepare. But when we look through the light of the Buddha's teachings, we begin to see that within any loss, there is a deep lesson. Suffering does not come to torment us. Suffering comes to teach. And when we understand it correctly, suffering becomes the path to wisdom. The first lesson is seeing impermanence with a calm heart. When we lose our home or our belongings, we panic because we believe those things would last forever. But the Buddha taught, whatever has form is subject to impermanence. Natural disasters simply reveal this truth more clearly. Impermanence does not exist to make us suffer. It exists to help us loosen our attachments. When we stop clinging to possessions as if they were part of our own body, we recover faster. A person may lose a house but not lose themselves. And that is the beginning of peace. The second lesson is recognizing causes and conditions. When a disaster happens, we often ask, "Why me?" But if we look deeper, we will see that everything arises from a web of causes and conditions. There are conditions from past karma, conditions from the place we live, conditions from human damage to the environment, and conditions created by the collective actions of the community. When we understand this, we no longer blame heaven or blame others. We see that this is the result of a long chain of actions, by people, by society, and by ourselves over many lifetimes. Knowing this, the heart carries less resentment and less sorrow. The third lesson is cultivating compassion in times of hardship. When we see a neighbor lose their home, when we see the despair in their eyes, our heart softens. Compassion is not words, it is action. When someone suffers, we reach out to help, even with something small. A meal, a blanket, a comforting presence. These small acts create merit. And that merit may one day be the very force that lifts us up when we face our own trials. Those who can feel compassion for others during suffering are planting the greatest seeds of merit. The fourth lesson is practicing mindfulness. When a storm arrives, our mind easily moves into panic. Mindfulness helps us stay steady inside even as everything around us feels chaotic. With one slow breath, we bring the mind back to the body. When the mind is calm, we act more wisely, see more clearly, and are not swept away by emotion. A mindful person, even when losing everything, does not fall into despair. They know how to stand back up little by little. They know that peace is not the absence of storms, but the presence of mindfulness within the storm. There is something else very important: learning to look back at ourselves when loss happens. Many people lose their home and say, "I've lost everything." But my friend, losing a house is not losing everything. If we still have our body, we still have everything. If we still have our family, we still have everything. If we still have our ability to work, we still have everything. A house can be rebuilt. Wealth can be regained. But losing faith is far harder to restore. That is why, when we face disaster, the first thing to protect is not our possessions, but our stability of mind. When the mind is steady, we can stand. And when we can stand, the path forward appears again. In suffering, we often focus on what we've lost and forget what remains. But if we learn to look at what is still here, we will realize there is so much to be grateful for. Grateful that we are alive. Grateful that our loved ones are still by our side. Grateful that in times of hardship, someone reaches out to help. Grateful that after the storm, sunlight returns. Grateful that suffering gives us the chance to see our own mind clearly. When gratitude appears, suffering softens. In many flooded regions, after the water recedes, we often see that the people who start with nothing are the ones who rise the fastest. They don't sit and complain about heaven. They start cleaning, rebuilding step by step. And strangely enough, they are the ones who receive the most help. People give them rice. Others give them seedlings. Others help them repair their home. When they stand up with a heart free of resentment, the universe stands with them. That is merit. True merit does not mean we never encounter hardship. True merit is having the strength to rise when hardship comes. But not everyone can rise right away. Some people lose so much that they drown in their pain. When you meet someone like this, don't say things like, "It's okay, you'll be fine." Their suffering needs to be heard. The lesson here is not to deny their pain, but to embrace it with understanding.